Hello, 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 my friends. Let me say welcome again to another edition of John's Sports Corner. And I know that as 2025 keeps on chugging, we're going to have so much to talk about because there's so many things down the road that we just have to make you aware of and to get your support and your um, convenience in sharing with your friends and your neighbors. So thank you so much, John. Again, I say congratulations and closing out 2024 with a bang because on Sosofat television, we have surpassed the 5 million mark in less than months. So thank you so much. The platform is roaring towards 2025. Welcome again, John, to John's Sports Corner.
And thank you so much, Trevor. A very good afternoon to you, wherever you are. Or very, very good morning, good evening, good night. Some places, if you're tuned into the Sosofat TV platform on SosoBone Media. It's Wednesday. It's time for John's Sports Corner. Again, good afternoon. But before I jump into it, just let me remind you that you may go to Winner Circle Sports in the SosoBone shop and purchase your choice of merchandise that's there, including the great Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee.
Oh, yes.
What an aroma to fill your house or your apartment, wherever you are. But thanks for tuning in. Earlier, we had an interesting chat with Netball Jamaica's Director of Marketing and Sponsorship, Ms. Karen Rosenbaugh, who has declared she will run for the presidency of Netball Jamaica at their upcoming annual general meeting. So watch out for that on the Sosofat platform, that interview. Let's talk sports. As usual, we start with birthdays. Yesterday, Tishana Hinklin celebrated a birthday, so too Julian Fort and Lewis Hamilton, the great Formula One driver who has Grenada connection.
I.
They, they used to call him Sir Lawrence of Sabina. Lawrence Rowe celebrates a birthday today. Happy birthday, Sir Lawrence of Sabina, who is also a member of our Cricket Hall of Fame. James Beckford tomorrow, Olympian and world champion medalist celebrate. So too former West Indies and Jamaica cricket captain Jimmy Adams, also a Hall of Famer. Interestingly, Jimmy was inducted in 2018, that same year as myself. Happy birthday when it comes, Jimmy. Also a former Jamaica and West Indies cricketer, Gareth Breeze, celebrates a birthday on Friday. Kemar Bailey Cole, former Jamaica athlete, celebrates a birthday. And I think he would still be one of the prominent sprinters in Jamaica, but he has been experiencing some injuries that he's not seem not able to get over, Trevor. But I was hoping he would be one of our next great sprinters. Former world heavyweight champion George Foreman also celebrates on Friday. On Saturday, Jerry Solomon, Trinidad and Tobago Olympian and world champion medalist, celebrates a birthday. I need to make one correction from last week's report. I said Champs 2025 was scheduled for April. Champs 2025 is actually March 25th to the 29th. So please make a note. And it's so funny. When I was saying March, April champs, I kept saying to myself, but why is champ so late?
Yeah, because Penwilly at that time is,
You know,
is in the mix.
Start with some cricket now. Former Trinidad and Tobago and West Indies all-rounder Dwayne Bravo, appointed head coach of Abu Dhabi Knight Riders for the 2025 International League. Bravo most recently received served rather as bowling coach for Afghanistan at the 2024 ICC World Championships. He takes charge of a squad littered with West Indian cricketers, including Sunil Narine, Andre Russell, Roston Chase, Jason Holder, Terence Hines, and Kyle Mears. The Knight Riders open against the Mumbai Indian Emirates January 12th. The Jamaica Cricket Association President Dr. Donovan Bennett has inferred that Jamaica will have a franchise in the upcoming Caribbean Premier League season. He says the deal has not been finalized yet, but it is in an advanced stage. He says it will be an extension of an Indian Premier League team coming to Jamaica. Dr. Bennett also indicated that these plans mean Sabina Park would need to immediately upgrade their scoreboard and lighting. If and when this agreement is finalized, it will be the fourth Indian Premier League connected franchise in the Caribbean Premier League, joining Trinbago Knight Riders, owned by the Kolkata Knight Riders, Barbados Royals, owned by the Rajasthan Royals, the St. Lucia Kings, owned by Punjab Kings. West Indies in Pakistan, for the first time in 18 years, for their two-test series, they opened the tour with a 3-day warm-up game January 10th before the first test on January 16th in Karachi. And it makes me wonder what emotions Coach Andre Kohler is experiencing, knowing this is his last series as West Indies red ball coach. For the first time since 2014, Australia locked up the Border Gavaskar Trophy by winning the fifth and final test against India in Sydney by 6 wickets and win the series 3-1 with one match drawn. Final scores: India 185 and 157, Australia 181 and 162 for 4. Player of the match, Scott Boland, which match figures up 10 for 76 actually, while Jasprit Bumrah was named player of the series for his 32 wickets at 13.06 apiece. And after winning the first test in Perth, things just seem to have gone downhill for India. And losing Jasprit Bumrah in the Australia first innings of this final test to a reported back spasm after he had taken the first 2 wickets in the Aussie innings certainly hurt India. Add to that, there seem to be issues in the India camp. Ravi Ashwin announcing his retirement in the middle of the series following the third test. Captain Rohit Sharma wasn't at his best and was omitted from the Sydney fifth and final test. Rohit says he was not dropped for the crucial fifth test, but that he initiated conversations with the selectors and coach since he was not batting well. Well, is that what a captain should do, or buckle down and take the reins of the fifth and final test, hoping that he could win that test match and tie the series? As a matter of fact, was this Rohit Sharma's final test series? We shall see. Anyway, just one more thing, Trevor. Watching Usman Khawaja's daughter, Usman Khawaja is the opening batsman for Australia, but watching Usman's daughter hug his dad tightly after the game, it kind of just took me back to me and my daughter when she was around that age. Anyway, meanwhile, Steve Smith is to lead Australia in their upcoming 3-test series against Sri Lanka. Australia captain Pat Cummins will be on paternity leave for the birth of his second child.
Paternity
You
leave.
paternity leave.
Is that a new word, John?
Well, it's just the opposite, I guess, of maternity. Pa, ma, you know.
I mean, normally, John, when a woman is on maternity leave, we ask, when is she due?
Well, I guess she's due during the series. So he's staying home to
Oh,
be with his wife, as I say, for the birth of his second child. Anyway, you may recall Steve Smith served a 2-year ban from captaincy following his involvement in the 2018 ball tampering scandal. Both Nathan McSweeney, who opened for Australia in the first 3 test matches against India, and his replacement, 19-year-old Sam Constas, have been selected for the Sri Lanka tour. So the Australian squad is Steve Smith captain, Sean Abbott, Scott Boland, Alex Cleary, Cooper Connolly, Travis Head, Josh Inglis, Ushman Khawaja, Sam Constas, Matthew Kuniman, Marnus Labuschagne, that is, Nathan Lyon, Nathan McSweeney, Todd Murphy, Mitchell Stark, and Bo Webster. The first test bowls off January 29th in Galle. Afghanistan defeated Zimbabwe by 72 runs in the second test in Bulawayo and win the 2-test series 1-0 with the first test drawn. Afghanistan 157 and 363, Zimbabwe 243 and 205. Centuries for Ramat Shah 139 and Ismat Alam 101 in that Afghanistan second innings, while Rashid Khan had match figures of 11 for 160 for the Afghans. Player of the match, Rashid Khan, while player of the series, Ramat Shah. Along with his second test, 139, he scored 234 in the first test. Over in Cape Town, South Africa. South Africa by 10 wickets over Pakistan in the second test to sweep the 2-test series 2-0. South Africa 615 and 61 without loss. Pakistan 194 and 478. A double century for Ryan Wrinkleton, 259, while centuries for Temba Bavuma, 106, and Kyle Vereen, 100, even in the South Africa first innings, while San Masood, 145, and Babar Azam, 81, in a Pakistan second innings record partnership of 205. Player of the match was Ryan Rickelton, while player of the series was Marco van Basten.
Marco van Basten.
And how about this for a piece of cricket history, Trevor? South Africa's Kewina Mafaka's first wicket in Test cricket was Babar Azam. His first wicket in 2020 cricket was Babar Azam.
Wow.
His first wicket in one-day international cricket was Babar Azam.
John, next time they're going to play it on these, I'm going to bet on that.
Kewema Mafaka of South Africa. Let's jump to some track and field news. Trinidad and Tobago development meet scheduled for, track and field development meets scheduled for this Saturday in Jamaica. The Douglas Forest Invitational at the National Stadium. The J3A's Fuller Anderson meet at GC Foster College. The Manchester High School / Charlie Fuller Field Events meet at Manchester High School. And Trevor, I think it will be interesting to see if in another few years Jamaican athletes feature prominently as middle long distance runners and field inventors, and add to household names that our sprinters hold so sacred now. And I say that not only because high schools are combing African countries for middle long distance runners to bolster champs points, but our administrators are holding a lot of 3,000-meter runs, 5Ks, and 10Ks across the island, as well as meets dedicated to field eventers that seem to be advancing the development of our athletes in those disciplines.
You know, John, they might want to look up in Maroon country for some of those long distance runners, you know. Granted that the British couldn't catch them when they were chasing them.
They go running up those hills. Yeah, you know, probably. I tell you. Anyway, Trevor, Jamaica Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year Award Gala at the Pegasus Hotel scheduled for Friday, January 17th. And as a reminder, there are 8 male nominees and 5 females. The male nominees are Roger Stoner, Akeem Blake, Rashid Broadbell, Rajindra Campbell, Rasheen MacDonald, Kerry McLeod, Wayne Pinnock, and Kishane Thompson. The female nominees are Shanika Ricketts, Rochelle Clayton, Akira Nugent, Nikisha Price, and Laurie Sharp. Interestingly, Laurie Sharp is the only non-athletic person in the selection for the women. She's a cyclist. And a pretty good one so far in her development, and hopefully we can see her in the next Olympic Games, Trevor. But I'm not sure what the criteria is to be selected as Jamaica Sports Person of the Year, because you know you have Janelle Fowler Nemhard and Romelda Aiken George out of Netball Sunshine Girls, who played in a World Championship last year. Khadija Bonnie Shaw, who went to the World Cup last year, Women's World Cup. So you wonder, these are world events, why they are not part of the mix in being nominees for Sports Women of the Year.
Who does the nomination, John?
Well, I tell you, there's a panel, and according to Gary Allen, who is chairman of the selection committee, the criteria for nomination will be reviewed this year.
Okay, because I asked a question, you know, because when I asked about the order of distinction and how the selection process takes place, sometimes I hear it depends on which party is in power.
Well, that could very well be so, or who you know, or who know you, Trevor. You know, I tell you. So I do wonder sometimes how these things come about, you know, these selections, you know.
Yes.
Because I've seen some questionable ones.
Oh, questionable. I see some people when they're nominated, they have a surprised look on their face, like, what did I do?
Oh boy, Trevor.
Remind me of the days, John, when you go to a funeral home to attend a funeral and you have more than one room, and you're in a room and you're them talking about somebody up there who is in a cup, you wonder if you're in the wrong place.
I tell you. Anyway, jumping ahead to the fields of green in football, Jamaica under-17s opened the Torneo del Sol with a 3-2 win over Selección Bajío on Monday. That's in Mexico. Seymour Reed scored a brace, and Cariano Marsh got the other goal for the Young Reggae Boys. However, yesterday, the Young Reggae Boys slipped to a 2-goal-0 lost to under-19 Selección Norte, also of Mexico. However, earlier today, the young Reggae Boys shifted into third gear and defeated the Liga Premier 3-1. Timor Reed delivering again for the young Reggae Boys with a second half hat trick. Trevor,
Wow.
the win ensured that Jamaica, along with Panama, are the only non-Mexican teams advancing to the round of 8, where they'll meet Metropolitan team. Assistant coach Vassar Reynolds says Metropolitan team will be a tough test for the young Reggae Boys. 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi was a no-show to receive his Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Joe Biden on Saturday. Word is, when he was informed of the honor in December, he already had prior commitments which would have prevented him from attending. Also receiving a medal was former Los Angeles Lakers great Magic Johnson.
Look, John,
Congratulations to both.
I can well understand Messi might have been a little bit confused because granted that he has only been a visitor to this United States, I would hear, I mean, if he was sleeping and he woke up and heard that he was gonna receive the Presidential Medal of Honor, I'm sure he was thinking about his own South American country.
Well, you know, I kind of wonder too how he was nominated, Trevor, but
And that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. How does the nomination process take place? I mean, why? I mean, I like Messi and I respect him for all his achievements, but why would he get the Presidential Medal of Freedom in the United States when and at the same time we're looking at Magic Johnson as being on the podiums if Messi had been in attendance. And then we look around and we wonder about all the people in this country who have done such things in this country way in advance of a visiting Messi, okay, who have not really been, nominated, much selected. So,
well, I FIFA Player of the Year, 8-time Ballon d'Or winner, I guess.
Well,
but as you say, you wonder the selection process. How did that happen? Who did he know? Well, he plays for the team in Miami, Major League Soccer team in Miami. So I don't know if the Miami connection with Mar-a-Lago or something like that. I don't know.
Well, John, I would say this, that if Trump had given it to him with Mar-a-Lago would have factored in. I would have thought that on his way out, President Joseph Biden, not that I don't like the young man, the old man.
Yeah.
I would have figured that he would have maybe concentrated and doing something that we have been asking for a very long time. The pardon.
Marcus Garvey.
Yes, Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Okay. Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is why, as we said, the Democratic Party seems to be slipping off the slope, John.
But I think our first black president was also presented to pardon God. Wasn't that true, Trevor? And he didn't either.
You mean Bill
Barack?
Clinton? You mean Bill Clinton?
Barack. And he didn't. So, but we still have until January 19th to see if something happens.
Well, actually, when Saul was on the road to Damascus, something did happen, so.
Anyway, let's move along in football, Trevor. And the Jamaica Premier League second round now. And last weekend, results from last weekend's game, Malines United 3-1 over Harborview. Harborview having a real terrible season so far. 100 Gardens 2-0 over Racing. Veer 1-0 over Humble Lion. Mount Pleasant over Dunby holding 4-0. Montego Bay United 2-1 over Chapelton Maroons. Tivoli and Portmore in a 1-1 stalemate. So too a draw between Cavalier and Waterhouse, 2 goals apiece. This weekend, Dunbeholden plays Cavalier, Harbourview plays Humble Lion, Chapelton Maroons takes on Mullines United, Vere plays Portmore, Waterhouse takes on Tivoli Gardens, Racing takes on Mount Pleasant, while Arnett Gardens is at home to Montego Bay United. And after last weekend, the leading goal scorers in the Jamaica Premier League are Brian Brown of Montego Bay United with 10 goals, Kimoni Bailey, Mount Pleasant with 9 goals, John Martha Calvin of Cavalier, and Warner Brown of Arnett, 8 goals apiece. Moving across the pond to English Premiership, Newcastle 2-1 over Tottenham, Bournemouth 1-0 over Everton, Aston Villa 2-1 over Leicester City, Crystal Palace and Chelsea in a 1-1 stalemate, Manchester City winning a game 4-1 over West Ham, Brentford 5-0 over Southampton, Brighton and Arsenal in a 1-1 stalemate, Fulham and Ipswich in a 2-2 stalemate, same score between Liverpool and Manchester United. One might consider that a mild upset, a 2-2 stalemate, while Nottingham 3-0 over Wolverhampton Wanderers. No English Premier League games this weekend. It's FA Cup weekend. And we move along to netball. Netball Jamaica first Vice President Simone Forbes is iffy about running again for the position in the upcoming election. She has been in the position since October of 2021 and says she'll let us know if she'll run again. Simone says family commitments and her 5-year-old takes up a lot of her time, and being on the board is like having another child and consumes a lot of time. The annual general meeting to select the next board is supposed to take place in another few weeks. We will stay tuned to see what happens with that. Meanwhile,
but John, let me say this. When we hear those type of excuses, and granted that the persons who might replace the person who has a good excuse might also have a child, John, does it hold a lot of water when you talk about, when you examine the fact that when someone nominates you or asks you to do something, sometimes they do the background check and they know that you have 1 or 2 kids hanging on both sides of the fence, but they might have a schedule that permits you to be productive in that area. I'm just wondering sometimes what is the reception when somebody says, well, my 5-year-old takes up all of my time, therefore I cannot do something that might benefit someone else. How do you read that?
Trevor, maybe, I don't know what the situation is. It could be a situation, where you have to get the youngster now at 5 to school, pick her up from school, and get her homework done, that kind of thing. And it does take a lot of time at that age,
Well, I agree with that. Set that as a reasonable reason. I'm just saying that sometimes, when somebody hears that somebody declined a position, and then the position might get filled by someone who is in a similar situation, then you have to try to wait in the balance.
Yeah, but maybe not similar situation, but sometimes have more help
True.
at home.
True.
Okay. So you never know what the circumstances are.
Good. Well, I'm glad you approach it that way because, as I said, sometimes when we say things and report on things on our program, we leave people out there with a question mark.
Mm.
And I like to look at cut it, as I say, cut the fat, let's get down to the bone
Bone.
and maybe be able to show people that there is justification because the coin, as we say, the coin does not have two sides. It's not a head or a tail because it does have an edge. And when it can stand on its edge, therefore it does have two sides.
And if you get it to stand on the edge, you're a magician. Anyway, Trevor, Sunshine Girl coach Sasha Gay Henry has settled on her 15-member squad for the 3-game series against South Africa. And in the absence of Captain Janelle Fowler Nemhard, the captaincy armband has been handed to Shamira Sterling Humphrey, and the rest of the squad is Shimona Jock, formerly Nelson, Shanice Beckford, Rhea Dixon, Mishka Creary, Simone Gordon, Abigail Sutherland, Khadija Williams, Crystal Plummer, Bree Grierson, Adrian Thomas, Latanya Wilson, Jodian Ward, Teresa Beckford, and Kimon Shaw. England-born Bree Grierson is the only new player in the squad and is expected to make her Sunshine Girls debut. She's a versatile attacking player and will be playing for Nottingham Forest in next season's English Super League. Kadian Dehaney, Romelda Aiken-George, and Janelle Fowler-Nemhard will not be available for the South Africa series. The 3-game series against number 5 ranked South Africa scheduled for January 18th, the 22nd, and the 23rd.
What are the criteria, John, that you think they use in selecting the captain of a team? Granted, you just announced the fact that a captain was named for the team. So what do you explain to our viewers why you think and what are the criteria they should strive for if they would like to be captain of a team that they are involved with, John?
Well, you asked me a good question there, Trevor. I guess when you are in a team environment, there are just some team members who kind of stand out more in terms of leadership roles than others. And in some circumstances, I suppose, some players might be looked up to more for advice than others.
Okay.
And I suppose those are some of the ingredients that lead to one being selected captain.
Okay.
Yeah. And I go back even to my brief playing days with my club and my club captain. And oftentimes, in a game, my club captain, if you see him put up his hand like this to the coach,
You're gone?
he's telling the coach about a change.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you have to say he monitors the energy on the field.
And yeah, he's like the coach on the field.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I'm glad you explained that because sometimes when someone say to someone, "I'm the captain," they don't understand what type of ingredient the captaincy brings to the team when you introduce that person as the captain. They might not score the most goals, they might not be even the best player on the field. Okay, but as a leader,
I can relate even another incident. I remember one year we got to the playoffs, and it was the first game of the playoffs. And this particular team that we were going to meet, we met in the first round, should not be on the field with us, period. But at halftime, they were leading 1-0. And we went into the dressing room. And the skipper said, "Gentlemen, have a seat." And he said nothing else. And the coach did not come into the dressing room. Coach did not come in. When the referee blew the whistle for second half, only thing he said to us, "We are going to go back on the field and play possession. Forget about scoring goals. We're going to just go there and play possession." Well, before you know it, we scored 3 goals and beat them 4-1. You know? So, yeah. I'm not sure what the ingredients really are to select a captain, but I think some of them are just a certain demeanor around other players and how he handles things, maybe how he leads them in a warm up before a game or at practice, that kind of,
Okay, good.
And maybe sometimes even who you see the coach confiding in more than any other player.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's move across the pond. Oh, let's swim across the Caribbean, Trevor.
Okay.
And let's just say congratulations to Grenada's 2012 Olympic gold medalist, Kirani James, who was conferred with the honorary doctorate of laws degree by the University of the West Indies on Saturday. He was awarded the honorary doctorate for his excellence in athletics. Kirani James is the most successful athlete out of Grenada, maybe barring Lewis Hamilton's connection, winning multiple medals at junior, college, and senior levels. Matter of fact, Kirani James is the only athlete today to win a medal over the 400 meters in 3 separate Olympic Games. 2012 London, 2016 Rio, and 2021 Tokyo. Congratulations, Dr. Kirani Zeno James. Texas A&M University track and field team to unveil a memorial for Aggie Hall of Famer Dion Landore at the McFerrin 12-degree Invitational on Friday, January 10th at the R.A. Murray Traskent 38 Indoor Track and Field facility. The former Trinidad and Tobago World Championship and Olympic medalist who competed for A&M from 2012 to 2015 was tragically killed in a car crash in Texas, January 2022. In 2014, he went unbeaten in 14 races, claiming both indoor and outdoor titles over 400 meters. During the outdoor season, he broke the 45-year-old 400-meter school record by winning the SEC title in 44.36 seconds, which at the time was the 4th fastest time in the world. Following his record-setting season, he was named the first and only male winner of the Bowman Award for Texas A&M University. Dion Landore competed in 3 Olympic Games, 2012, 2016, and 2020, which was run in 2021. We also learned, unfortunately, of the passing of former Barbadian Olympic athlete Richard Louis. He was a member of the Barbadian historic 4x4 100-meter relay team that placed 6th in the 1984 Olympic final, the first time in history that Barbados competed in an Olympic final of any kind. Louis also played cricket and made 3 appearances for the U.S. in the 1990s. He was a seam bowler and hard-hitting batsman.
Okay.
Jereme Richards and Leah Bertram named Tobago's male and female athletes of the year this past weekend, actually. At the Paris Olympics, Richards became the first Trinidadian to go sub 44 seconds over 400 meters when he clocked 43.78 at the Paris Olympic Games. And he just missed a medal, placing 4th in the final. While Leah Bertram was a semi-finalist in the women's 100 meters at the Paris Olympics. The sprint king, Jereme Richards, has set his goal, or should I say the Trinidad and Tobago sprint king has set his goal for 2025, and that is to become only the 4th athlete to go sub 10 seconds in the 100 meters, sub 20 seconds in the 200 meters, and sub 44 seconds in the 400 meters. He has 2 of those boxes checked already, Trevor. 19.8 in the 200 and 43.78 in the 400. His best time in the 100 meters so far is 10.19 seconds. He feels he still has enough fuel in the tank to go sub 10 seconds in the 100 meters.
Okay.
The vote for Trinidad and Tobago Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year comes up January 11th. Cricketer Nicholas Pooran, athlete Jereme Richards, Paralympian discus thrower Akeem Stewart, and cyclist Nicholas Paul are the leading candidates for Sportsman of the Year, while the contenders for Sportswoman of the Year will be athlete Leah Bertram and cyclist Makaira Wallace. Trinidad and Tobago government committing 6.8 million Trinidadian dollars to the Trinidad Soca Warriors 2026 World Cup campaign. 6.8 million actually is a little over $1 million US.
Oh, that's still a good
well, you know, the funds represent a pledge of US 2 million by the government for the campaign, and is earmarked to cover items such as coaches' fees, local training, local games, foreign games, airline tickets, and other team expenses. And I know from your experience, Trevor, it takes a lot of money to prepare a football team.
Yes, John.
And the World Cup is certainly no different. And, you know, you might say 2 million, but when you look at the long and short of it, 2 million might not even be enough.
Well,
or close to being enough.
Well, when you're considering that some of the players, if you try to pay them $2 million, you're underpaying them, John.
You know what I mean, Trevor? Anyway, we have some results from the Premier League competition in Trinidad and Tobago. Defense Force defeated AC Port of Spain 6-3. Central FC 6-2 over 1976 FC Phoenix. Club Sando and Caledonia in a 2-2 stalemate. Point Forting Civic 4-1 over Eagles Football Club. San Juan Jablotec and Prisons Football Club in a 2-2 stalemate. Terminix LA Horquetta Rangers 2-1 over Miscellaneous Police FC. And before I close, I want to piggyback on that chat you had with Anne-Marie Grant, Trevor, where she talked about the average American child from elementary age and the conversation is about attending college.
Yes.
In 2005, I took a trip to Disney with my family, and we stayed at one of the Disney properties, Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Mhm.
At breakfast one morning, a couple of youngsters were dining at the table across from us. They could not have been more than maybe 10 years old, Trevor.
Mhm.
And what caught my ear, they were talking about what college they were going to attend.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, and I said to myself, can you 10-year-olds talk about what college I want to attend? You know, and so when I heard Anne-Marie talk about this, I said, oh, well, you know, I kind of experienced that a couple of years ago.
But you see,
Anyway,
John, the in this country, John, the colleges are so well marketed and well advertised for their specific I would say services or categories that they represent. And so when you say you can get into a certain college, it demonstrates that you are of a standard sometimes that is set by that college as it ranks with in comparison to the other colleges.
mhm.
When you are in a place like the West Indies where you really don't have many choices, and so you are really faced with going to what is there, then maybe you don't find that competitive nature being built into the system. Okay? Because when we look at the presidents of the United States, people talk about what college they went to, John, and how important it is for them to recognize of having gone to that college, John.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they might be a dunce, John.
Well, I'm going to be very forthright with you, Trevor. When I left high school, my circumstance, I probably left high school a year before I probably shouldn't have,
Mhm.
because my dad died when I was 10, 11, somewhere around there, so, and left my mom with 6 children.
Mhm.
And after I passed senior Cambridge, I said, that's enough high school. Let me go find a job to help my mom.
Right. That's right.
So back those days now, college was actually the furthest thing from my mind.
That's right.
I got a job, and I mentioned with Kingston Wharves, and I figured I would work my way up the ladder
Yes.
at some point, you know. And but when I got the opportunity to go to college, well, when I did get the opportunity and I filled out the application, Trevor, I said no college going to accept me.
Well, and that
Then, then I got one day I go home and I see this package. I said, what the hell is this? And when I open the package, I see the application and all kind of things. I'll have to go to the police to get fingerprint and clearance. I said, so I filled out the application and send it in. I said, they're not going to accept me. Lo and behold, I get back another letter that I was accepted into college.
well,
But Trevor, just to say, in this country, there is a college just about for everybody.
that's my point, John. That's the point. That's why kids can sit down and discuss at a very young age what college they want to go to. If, for example, if the kid is interested in basketball, John,
Hmm.
picking out some basketball strongholds, okay?
Hmm.
If he wants to do law, he's talking about Columbia and the other top law schools that he would like to get to, because when he looks, these are the people that are running the world. Okay.
Yeah, and if you can't even get into those, there are law schools you can get into if you really want to be a lawyer.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know,
You know,
uh, but and the beauty about it, Trevor, not all of us going to be lawyers and doctors, you know.
well,
But
90%.
you have school for the plumber,
Oh,
for
yeah.
the electrician,
Mhm,
for the carpenter,
mhm.
you know. And these are really good paying jobs that you can get.
And John, you have to wonder whether or not in the process of us educating our children, whether we really talk about the potential of the various disciplines that you can decide to go into. Okay? Because right now it is said that the new millionaires and budding millionaires are the plumbers, the construction people, and the people are into the trades. Okay, because those are the places that you say you don't have layoffs, and in those places, because that's what make your economy grow.
Yeah.
If you're not communicating that to our young people when they're in school, okay, then you find that 70% of the people who go to college, the courses that they study for, John, is not what they do when they leave college. Yeah.
True.
The economics and all the the accounting and all the things that they really major in, when they come out, they're looking for a job, John.
Musical appreciation. Quite frankly, I had to do a course called musical appreciation. I learned about the different periods in music and the Tchaikovsky and the Beethoven and this and that. And I said to the professor, I said, but boss, we don't see Temptations and Four Tops in this. And
John, when I was going to Titchfield, John, when I was told that to buy a Latin book, John, to study Latin, I mean, coming out of primary school, I didn't even know there was a word named Latin.
But fortunately for me, Trevor, my grandfather was a minister in the Presbyterian Church, and he knew Latin and Greek.
Okay.
So during the summer holidays, I went down as usual to spend time in the country, and he helped me with the Latin.
Okay, well, when I was attending primary school in Clarkstown, and at the various times, we had to pluck up and go to the Anglican church. Yes, I would wonder, why is it that the man was up there speaking a language and nobody understood what he was saying?
But you talk Anglican church, and I went to an Anglican high school, and I was a member of the high school choir.
Okay.
And we sang in Latin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all we could say was, "Oh, me miserable." So yes, it stands to reason, that our kids are not talking about what colleges that they're going to, because as Anne-Marie said, that while 8 out of 10 in this country is talking about going to college, 2 out of 10 in our demographic actually go to college, John.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And 8 out of 10 actually want to try and get a job after high school.
yes, and it's shameful to say that in some of the reader programs that I've been following, I see young men who finished college with multiple degrees, John, and they'll tell you the jobs that they cannot get. And unfortunately, I heard one gentleman say that at a certain point he was so desperate he was actually considering scamming college.
Well, and sometimes too, Trevor, I guess it depends on circumstances, because I have a very good friend now. When he left high school, when he passed exam, it was maths, chemistry, and physics.
Yes.
And he was not interested in going to college. He was offered, his aunt tried to get him to go college. She could get him into UE. He said, "No, I'm going to work." Yeah.
Yeah. Because, we never had remember, we came out of that situation where high school was not for everyone, and it was not free. And if you didn't pass that scholarship or the overage scholarship, you never made it there.
Mm.
So sometimes I say that, we would like to move faster than the road allows us to, John.
Yeah.
Because I still say to people on many occasions that we still have a very young democracy when we talk about independent Jamaica or the Caribbean.
Mm.
It's a
Mm.
it's a very young it's a very young democracy because we want to compare ourselves to a 400-year-old United States and a
Mm.
3,000-year China, okay,
Mm.
or a 2,000-year-old India, and we try to use those as a comparison. And the DNA has not really saturated,
Yeah.
in our system as yet, okay? We are not, we cannot identify the fact that we are coming from a tribe of warriors or a tribe of lawyers or a family of teachers.
Mm.
We might go back one to mommy or two to grandparents. Whereas we're looking at people who are coming out of a system where they can go back 10 or 15 generations.
Yeah.
Okay. And we are looking to compare what is ingrained in them with something that we are dreaming about.
Mm.
Okay. That is,
True.
you know.
Very true.
Yeah.
Anyway, Trevor, let me close now with a piece of today's cricket history and the birth of Pakistan's Shoaib Mohammed, the son of the great Hanif Mohammed. And Shoaib scored 7 test centuries with a top score of 203 not out against New Zealand in Karachi.
Hey.
And that's where I draw stumps on today's Sports Corner this Wednesday afternoon on the SosoBone media platform. But folks, remember to go to the Winner Circle Sports Tour in the SosoBone shop and pick up available merchandise, including the great Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee. See you next Wednesday.
Thank you so much, John. Excellent. And I'm sure that our viewers and our listeners are going to enjoy this to the max. Again, I say, please share this platform, John Sports Corner, with your friends and with your relatives and even some people that you don't like, because they might start liking you because you told them about it. So much, John. Thank you so much.